Alright, hello guys, and today we're here with the green elemental shell garden banner, which features Demon Epsilon as the rate up character. So it's pretty much like a Demon Epsilon rerun, and some other characters are in it that are on green elemental shell garden, which can help complement Atomic Alpha here. And also, as you can see here, there are some bonus character tickets you can get. Though from the looks of it, these ones have a chance to give you pretty much no SS, but this one here at 160 boost guarantees you an SS card. So that's over like 40k gems you'd have to spend on a rerun banner right before anniversary, so I wouldn't say it's worth to go that deep on this one really. So in the probability section, you can see here that besides the Epsilon, pretty much the rate for our characters is kind of messed up. So let's say you wanted the set and delta dual unit. I already have them, but yeah, they're pretty much just a permanent character. They're not in the free rate of pool. So if you get the Rowlet, there's a good chance that it will one be a random permanent character. That's not Zelda. Or two, it will just be D1 Epsilon. That's typical when you get the Rowlet animation. And it's pretty much the same for the other limited characters here. Like the New Year Eta, D1 Zeta and stuff. They are pretty much just down to chance, really. A lot of RNG. The first one, SS, and then have it be one of the characters are missing, and then for them to win. Pure getcha moment, really, in my opinion. Though, luckily, you can do an exchange here for both for gear at 30 and the character at 200. So, if you didn't get lucky with Zelda, maybe you could try that. But as I already said, don't recommend going that deep on this banner, especially when you count the due date for its ending. Now as we're getting into Demon Epsilon herself, as you can see, here's another character here, the New Year Shadow, and he's also kind of pretty good as well, but I'll get into him later when we go through the Demon Epsilon. And she also has that alternate art, but I don't think it's on this banner, so yeah. You have her ultimate, or hidden technique I should say. It raises her own defense, lowers defense of a single enemy, and inflicts charm. And here's charm during the effect. It's pretty much a seal, and then raises damage received by 10% per stack. So it's alright, I guess. The charm stuff. Though when awakened, it becomes pretty good, inflicting 3 charm and recovering 100 SP. This 100 SP really does help for Epsilon's passive, where it inflicts 400% damage if charm is inflicted on enemy when hand technique is activated. So yeah, this awaken free helps to proc that extra damage bonus you get. Here are skill 1 charming dance. Kind of simple stuff. Not much going on here really. Yeah, Majestic Sight. Not much going on here either. Just a small debuff with 2 hit damage. So at least you get double on the attack debuff when you awaken. So yeah, I do can't lie about how sexy this art is at least. However, hidden technique has a start wave, inflicts charm on single enemy, raises own defense, raises speed, and if hidden technique is activated, which is this up here, inflicts damage on enemy. So a charm here, so at the start with on single enemy for 5 with the highest attack for 5 seconds. It's pretty busted in PvP, as you can see pretty much any character. Like or any character for 5 seconds, which with how fast PvP moves now, that 5 seconds is pretty much enough for you to win. However, a strike combo, which reduces damage to see for all eyes, well that's typical stuff. And she grants shields damage. We have our gears here. Each time chance inflicted on enemy by itself raises attack and speed of all allies by 10%. So pretty much this one really becomes useful if you have the awaken. So you can get 3 charms, so 30% attack and 30% speed. And the awakened here, which is another 3 charm and for 10 seconds. So that's 30% buffs there as well. Yeah, this gear that just raises this damage received for all enemies by 5% for 60 seconds. So same debuff as Atomic Alpha for 60 seconds. A1 is meh, A2 meh, A3 pretty good, A4 meh, but good work I guess. And A5 is also pretty good as well. Typical for A1, A2, and A5 to be good. So Atomic Alpha is an exception to that, as I have stated in my previous video. So as you can see here, there's a New Year's shadow as well. Though it's pretty much in the like permanent pool. So you just have to get lucky if you want this guy instead. Go over to this New Year's shadow. This shadow 2026. Which is his own. His ultimate is similar to Atomic Alpha, where he gives himself crit rate and damage inflicted buffs. Fair inflicts AoE damage on all enemies, and then inflicts 2 hit damage on all enemies, multiply by slash mark. When which he then cancels slash mark. But then the ultimate is decent without the awakening, but when awakened, it's actually very strong. It gives him crit rate, more crit rate, the same crit rate and damage inflicted as Atomic Alpha, and 30% crit attack, which is pretty huge since he are giving himself crit rate. So yeah, the crit rate and crit attack combos sounds are very good, especially when it has the same bonus buffs as Atomic Alpha. And for it inflicts 5 hit damage on single enemy, multiplied by slash mark, and that's what makes it OP, in my opinion. And for what slash mark is, it pretty much just raises damage received by 10%, but it's stackable, so the enemy can have a lot of raises damage received buffs, debuff fast, which pretty much just multiplies your damage really. On this skill, he inflicts 2 damage on all enemies and inflicts slash mark on them all. So this here is a 30% damage received debuff on all enemies for 30 seconds, which is honestly kind of crazy. And awaken 6 slash mark. It pretty much means that you can pretty much in like 30 seconds, that's enough time for you to use this skill twice on somebody. It pretty much means that they'll end up having 6 slash mark or 12 slash mark for 30 seconds, depending on their awakening. Which is just damn a lot of damage received debuffs. I have a skill 2, right, Calamity Page, which raises its own attack, crit rate, and crit attack by a small amount, but then when you awaken it, it doubles and becomes decent above here. And then we have the passive here, which is one attack and speed multiplied by Shadow Garden in party. And each time 5 slash matches inflict on enemy, it inflicts 200 damage on enemy. When awakened, the attack and speed buffs double. And you do more damage. So pretty much, if you like got this skill awakened, well then yeah, the damage from here so would proc. Also his gear, when hand technique is activated, inflicts 5 slash mark on a single enemy. He also gives himself a 20% accuracy buff, and each time damage is inflicted by itself, he inflicts slash mark on a single enemy for 30 seconds. So yeah, he just stacks so much, especially with a 3-second cooldown. He inflicts so much. So pretty much that slash mark there can pretty much stack up with this to go up to like 4 slash mark or 7 slash mark cast at once. And of course, they could, and even though it says prefer against all slash mark effects, this gear pretty much reactivates 5 and then has a chance to get him to do up an extra one to make 6. So yeah. A tons of slash mark, which is tons of damage received debuffs, which pretty much must make your enemies withdraw for. A2 is good, I'd say. A3 is also good. A4 good. And A5 is definitely the king. So overall, realistically, while you're more likely to pull D1 Epsilon over this New Year Shadow, I'd say he's good. Though between the two banners, Atomic Alpha takes the cake easily. Like it's not even close. Since the one unit that you would want on here isn't even the rate top character. So yeah, well the best unit on here, I should say. The best unit on here isn't the rate top character, so you're pretty much left re-rolling for Pepsi if you're saying beginners watching a second time. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for this video, y'all. And I'll see ya in the next one.